Good morning. How are you today? Can you see those nice clouds over there? The sun is just coming onto the top of them. So pretty. Clouds. Oh my goodness, they're beautiful. I'm gonna have a photograph. Excuse my camera moving. I'm doing this with one hand. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, that's a beauty. That's beautiful this morning. It's actually a little lighter in real time than it's showing on the camera. That's my view as I talk to you, so I'll probably be looking at that often. There, that view lightened up a little bit. I've been making good use of YouTube myself. I shared with you yesterday that my relationship of 5.5 years is leaving, moving away, and a couple states over. But I will not be able to access him. I won't be able to speak to him. I will right now, even if we don't see each other every day, because he's taking care of his mother, or was, or is, won't be, I don't know. We spend about 3 hours a day on FaceTime. Either in the morning we visit, in the evening we watch TV together. And I won't be able to do that anymore. So I've been trying for the last few nights to sleep. And I can't, of course, I can't. YouTube has a wonderful bunch of relaxation channels, and mostly there's scenery and beautiful music. Bless YouTube. That's really why I started watching YouTube really full time as my entertainment about a year ago. During a time of particular stress, and TV programs were additionally stressing me out. I'd given up on the news the year before. I simply couldn't deal anymore. I have some favorite composers, and one was Tim Janis. I'd asked Amazon to play some nice music, probably instrumental, last year, and they were pulling up this Tim Janis, Timjanis. Well, he also has a series of videos he does under his name. I doubt if he does the drone work on them. But they're beautiful scenery of many places. The U.S., France, Italy, Austria, the Alps. I've been to all those places, not by drone. And who doesn't love a good drone shot? And it goes with his music. I don't sleep with lights on. If there's a tiny blue light showing, I will go put a piece of tape on it or cover it. I don't. And I sleep with a box fan to keep the noise level, and I sleep completely dark. Oh yeah. As we all have ways we deal with grief. I've left the TV on all night on the channel playing this sort of music, and these videos are 10 hours long, some of them, just for that very reason. I'm a little dry mouth this morning, and just for that very thing. A person needs 10 hours of beautiful scenery. Does it rotate? Yes, it does. Not enough for me to worry about a drone over the coast of France, or it's enough for me to like, could I live there? Very hot this morning, sorry. It's already 76. I didn't check the humidity. My guess is it's going up. We're not projected to have any rain though. And then I wake up, and of course there's grief, you know. It's not of course, but anyway, there's grief. I wake up and I've been going for short walks at 1 in the morning. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, I deadheaded at 1 out front, which is actually a pretty good time to garden out front. I can do it privately. Last night, I got up out of bed, I got dressed, I walked in the neighborhood. It feels safe enough. I did, my shadow scared me. That thing happened. I thought somebody was behind me and I saw something, it was my shadow. Crazy. I had turned the camera around to look at those beautiful clouds with the sort of the orange on them. Now they're got a more yellowish look to them. And I forgot to change the orientation so you could at least see the happy sunflowers. My world's up in the air right now. Yesterday I was studying how might I move, how might I carry so many of these pots with me, many of them filled with plants. I imagined I had a Penske. And I think I said in yesterday's video, and I'm not sure how much of that will actually get out because it was pretty raw for me, you know. But I have nowhere to go right now. Can't afford to go anywhere right now. Got to stick the landing here. This channel is as much about garden therapy as it is anything. It's actually one of my keywords. So let's talk about the 5 stages of grief. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross developed a theory of the 5 stages of grief. Most of you have heard of them. It was in a book she wrote called On Death and Dying, and it was the 5 stages of grief that people who are dying go through, and then people who are losing someone to death, or people who have lost someone to death. These stages also apply to just significant loss. The stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. The denial is this didn't happen, it's not happening, it is not going to happen, it didn't happen, it can't happen. Anger is, why did you leave me? Whether people leave you in death or in any other way, you should have stopped smoking, you could have lived longer. I feel that about one particular man I once loved. I think his smoking killed him. Why did you drink and get in that accident? You know, we do get angry at the people that leave us, even if it's not their fault necessarily. And that's okay, it's just how we do things. So, bargaining is the most interesting to me because it's what I do the most. And bargaining is if I change, if I move with him, if I promise to be better, if for instance, if somebody was dying that I loved, if I had made you go to the doctor sooner, it's my fault you didn't go to the doctor sooner. It's your fault, but it's my fault too. And bargaining is a way that we try to change the outcome. We know what's happening, we know it happened now, but we'll go into this magical thinking where if this happens or that happens, if I try hard enough, this horrible loss will not occur to me. Depression follows, and by the way, all these stages can start happening over and over. They're not sequential. You can have anger, you can go to bargaining, go back to denial. You can take depression and make that first and then go through. So they're not necessarily sequential. They are pretty flexible. Depression is clearly, you may or may not be done bargaining. You realize you're just depressed. You're just very, very sad and cannot lift out of it. And the final stage is acceptance. And that is the acceptance of the reality, the idea that there's no more bargaining, there's no more promises, there's no more changes, there's no more maybe this, maybe that. Just acceptance, and following that, hopefully someday healing, 5 stages of grief. I've thought about them many times in my life over just incidents, really, or loss. A person could say, take solace in your garden. If it wasn't 100 degrees, and I think I'm batting mosquitoes now. There's been a little creature that flew around my face yesterday and today. And if they come, I can't be out here at all. Part of this garden was about my relationship. He helped me. He made a bed for me. He made some lattice things for me. I helped him, but I would bring him out here for little tours. He's the only person I ever gave little mini tours to, other than the whole world on YouTube. So I would tell him what I bought. I bought plants for him, flowers for him. I just bought a bunch of stuff for him. Sunflower seeds that he's been growing. This decision came real quick on his part. This is not where I will find my solace. I'll be frank with you. I just wanted it all to die. I thought, what if I just don't come out here again and it all dies? I don't care. So I came out and watered because they need me. I put them in pots and they need me. I've been combating what many of us do, but I certainly do all the time, is internalizing. That is to say, this is my fault. And he began the conversation of, we have to talk with, fighting, arguing that we were doing, and but that is not the reason he's going. And I am upset that he would leave me with that legacy. It's been somewhat resolved that I don't accept that. He's going because he wants to. But I have internalized, of course, it doesn't take much for me to internalize wrongdoing, guilt, shame. It's how I grew up. I'm shame-based. A lot of us are. A lot of us are. It's not a big thing. We just have to deal with it. But I have to, in the bargaining phase of the 5 stages of grief, I have to stop internalizing. What if I had fought less, argued less, wanted less, demanded less, been more pleasing, more accommodating, more that person? That's both bargaining and internalizing. And it is a way that my little brain says, if I had been, I can do that now and change this outcome. He will stay if I change the way I am. Sadly, I think he thinks that's true. It's not. He's going because he wants to. He's going because it's expected of him, and he makes the majority of people happy, mostly women. So, family members, they're important to him. So I have to stop blaming myself, but saying it, and even my life as a former therapist, knowing it is not the same as actually practicing it. Those of us who actually practice therapy, I do have a degree and used to be licensed. I let that go. You have to keep taking tests and things. But anyway, practicing it's one thing, but actually applying it to yourself, it's exhausting, especially when one is very low and it's hard to work out the mechanics of how we think about things, and how we think makes us feel worse than the probable reality. So gardening, it's hot. It's hot. Things are looking dry. Nothing's shining except for those guys. They're like so happy. Making a quick look around. Everything's managing. I do believe the tomatoes have shut down production. Peppers are growing. The grapes are just there. I don't know if they're going to get bigger. I don't know that much about grapes. I keep saying I'm going to harvest them because they taste okay. Get them before the birds do. I won't be doing any garden chores today other than watering. The garden is, unless I choose to buy newer plants, and as you know, as I've said to you ad nauseum, I can't go forward with that right now. I wouldn't. My tendency when I'm hurt, when I'm left alone, when I'm feeling abandoned, is to run. There are two things that keep me from running right now, and that is a cat and all of these plants. The only one thing I am thinking about getting is all the high bees. I do enjoy sitting in my house, being bummed, or doing the video in my office or whatever, editing, and just setting the water. Am I 100% is going? No, still haven't got my app to really sell me on the idea it's running, but it has so far. I gotta sneeze. Those are the two things that are keeping me from running. Where to? I don't know. I get in the car and go. And of course, it's not a bad idea for the end of a relationship. I was reading, take a trip. Oh gosh, I used to love to travel. I always had to travel alone. My significant other then couldn't get a passport. So he couldn't travel with me. So I often went on tours, but just about put myself in bankruptcy. So don't really have that extra cash for that right now. And the last time I went to Europe was before cancer, before my treatment, so 2015, and I took a long U.S. road trip in 2016 by myself, and I got a great deal on a rental car because I had some traveler's points. Oh, it was great, and I ran to some genealogy sites all over. I flew to Ohio, traveled around Ohio, and then I flew out to Baltimore, and because, you know, I've had people live there, greats, and then up to Maine and New Hampshire and New York, Canada. Oh yeah, it was so great. What I had then, as I was mentioning to you before, was a significant other at home, holding down the fort, taking care of the animals, available to me on the phone all the time. I believe I just got my first mosquito bite. Okay, I ran inside real quick. Let me see if I'm recording. I think I am, yes. Yes, I got my first mosquito bite of the season, so I just ran inside, not to do. I'm looking at the stuff on my desk, hoping it's permissible. I get bit on my ankles right away and also on a spot on my forehead. That's why I wear all this clothing. It's not enough. I had thick hiking socks on, double layered, because I know that if I wear little, you know, half socks with a little bit of legs showing, because I've got black leggings on today, they will get that one spot. Remember, it's the female. This is what I use to cut the stinging. This has been so effective for me. I don't know how or why. My friend, shall I always say who's leaving? Shall I just define him as that? Told me when we were living back east, again, we weren't living together, alcohol cuts down the sting. I couldn't find anything that would stop the stinging. And when I get bit, a couple weeks later, I'm still scratching. I often scar. Sorry, I should be looking at the camera. Me and mosquitoes, I don't know what this means going forward, but so I've got this on my ankle right now. I'm kind of waiting for it to. I got this at Target and in back east, and also I got this one at Target last year. It's called All Terrain Herbal Armor Natural Insect Repellent, DEET-free. It's got soybean oil, citronella, peppermint, cedarwood, lemongrass, geranium, and 73% inert ingredients. So it says it's cruelty-free. I'm into that. I spray this on whatever parts of me are showing. Sometimes on my sleeves, I'll rub it because they do bite through my clothing. They bite through anything that's thin. And so I've been using this last year, very effective. Another setup I had, if I just wanted to sit there, was I brought the box fan out, and that was blowing them away from me because it was so hot and I wanted to sit out there. So I had this going, I had the box fan going. I certainly roughing up the citronella. Oh God. Who would have thought? It's not like I'm living in, let me shout out Foley, Alabama, which is pretty humid with a lot of mosquitoes, but thank you for sharing coffee with me, some tears too. Thank you for sharing the morning with me. I gotta go to battle here and make my ankles stop itching so much. I don't know why they bite the ankles, but they do. I do believe you're supposed to wear dark clothing, so I had black leggings on. Not good enough. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye. It must have already rained here. There was lightning. You can smell rain in the air. Can't stay here too long or I'm gonna get bit by a mosquito. So, this is just a very mild bit of storm. I think it's the beginning of monsoon season. And this will probably kind of scoot right past us. But you can see that I need to plant for wind, always. Everything has to be about wind. Normally I don't stand out in thunderstorms. Oh, there's a bunch. So it is heading, actually. It looks like, I don't know. It might actually be going that way. A strong thunderstorm is coming through. National Weather Alert. And watch these little guys bouncing around. I don't have them quite as supported as I did last year, but then these aren't mammoth either. There we go. Yeah, there's little tiny raindrops on my arms. It'll come through in a minute. Looks like everything's going to be all right. I don't know. It can get really, really windy here. Oh, look at that one over there, the smaller one. Oh, I should go inside. There's going to be lightning here in a minute. Look at that little guy. Don't like that. He doesn't have it. Oh, it's right overhead. Okay. Alrighty. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no. Ah! Yeah, that thunder's right overhead. Anyway, so I want you to see at least what we experienced down here in Arizona, certainly me in Southeast Arizona, this is such a mild wind, but it's enough to make one sunflower just bend halfway over. It's got a very thin stalk. Way over there. The one that's sort of, well, it's hanging over the edge here. It's got a lot of blooms, but a very thin stalk. I guess he's gonna make it for the year. I don't have as many sunflowers as I'd hoped. They would be supporting each other. And this little tree, I think, is gonna be all right. Yeah. I don't know. It's actually not the good enough weather for me to run out and... Has that got a support? Oh, it does. It's got a support in there. All right. This bag could be anywhere by tomorrow. Finally, it smells like rain here. And my mat is wet, meaning it rained while I was inside earlier. This is not what you really call monsoon, but it is the beginning of monsoon season. Monsoons are these horrible deluges of water that just come and flood and take off again in no time at all. You know, that little crepe myrtle's not very well supported. He's not going anywhere, the pots are very heavy. That geranium might need to come down. Should I run out and take care of that? Oh, I don't know. I shouldn't be outside at all. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call this whatever fixed. The chair might move, that little rocking chair, it tends to move during these storms. All right, I should go inside. Can't see all of the sunflowers, but I'm not gonna stand out there and film them either. So pretty, aren't they? Thunder's right overhead. All right, gonna head inside. From inside my house, I can see my neighbor's oleanders. He planted those 2 years ago. Small little things. And they're thicker now and they blow, they're pink. My point, I sit inside and I can tell what's happening with the weather based on his oleanders. I can't really see the rest of my garden from my back door, but I can always see his oleanders blowing, and I know how bad the wind is getting. He also has an outdoor furnace right there, and I can always hear rain hitting it. It gets pretty noisy. A little bit of rain now, but my goodness gracious, it smells great. It smells so good. We're just getting the sort of the side of this particular storm today. You know how it is when your town has a storm? I'm talking about rain, not tornadoes. And it comes through and you might be sitting there going, well, I'm not getting anything. And but they are on the next block over. We get that a lot. The rain seems to go around us. It comes off the mountains and goes north. They come up from Mexico, these storms. Yeah, rain. Smells just like it too. It smells like dusty rain. It smells great. I hope I don't get bit by a mosquito. And it still smells great. I assume the mosquitoes are here because of the rising humidity. I've ordered some measures this year. Laura from Garden Answer was talking about a mosquito eater. I've ordered a spray, and I've ordered some granules to throw in the mulch. And whatever gravel I have left over. Oh, it smells great. I don't know if you can see that spinner.
That's an assisted living over there. That's one reason I bought here is there's a street behind me which I thought would be fairly quiet. It's not a main road. And then an assisted living, and aren't they supposed to be quiet back there? We're praying that it cools down. Although we are getting ready for some 90-degree or 100-degree temperatures again. And that's what brings these storms on. Alrighty. Talk soon.